coming to celebrate. And so I'm going to interview her. I'm going to ask her some questions, but I want you to prepare your questions because she likes questions. And if she don't, she's going to get to like them today. And so prepare your questions and I will come back to you after we do the interview, okay? How about that? That sound good to you? Yes. All right, y'all got to talk back because this is the church and I'm a preacher, so you got to talk back to me. Amen. Amen?
Amen.
All right, amen. Okay, great. First question. What was the inspiration for Little Girl's Big Heart?
So it was my little cousin, Alana, who is actually the main character in the book. But as you described earlier, I was sitting at my kitchen table and I was thinking about her. God put her on my heart and I just started to write about who she is. I started to write about her loving heart. She's kind, she's generous. And it started to flow from there. I started to realize that she was an important person that people needed to know. And as I started to develop the illustrations, I realized, again, that like you said, this only wasn't Alana, this was me. This was my daughter, this was my goddaughter. You know, this little girl was someone who represented girls who I see every day, you know, and so the inspiration was a little girl with a big heart named Alana, my little cousin.
Okay, so how did you come up with the title?
It was simple. I saw a little girl and I saw that she had one of the biggest heart that I have ever encountered. And so I love the simplicity of the title. It goes across the board for so many little girls that you know, little girls with big hearts. Very simple.
That's beautiful. How did you come to be a writer?
Oh, wow. Writing has just always been a part of me. Ever since I can remember, I've always written. I used to write journals. I have countless journals filled from front to back. I remember entering writing contests as a third and fourth grader, just writing short stories. And so it's always followed me. I never really realized that it was something that was a part of me, but every time something big would happen, after I had my daughter, I started writing. You know, after I got married, I started writing. And so there's so many times where I can think back on it and see that writing kind of weaved itself back into my life. And now I just embrace it. I just embrace that I am a writer and it's always going to be with me.
That's wonderful. Why a children's book?
My children consume my life right now. They are a huge part of where I am in this season. And we visit the library countless times a week. And so children's books, they have so much that you can learn from. You really don't think that you can learn much from a children's book, but they have so many messages in them. And so I was like, you know, it's an amazing thought to think that I can create something that can be a part of children's lives for the rest of their lives. You know, they can pass it down to their children and their grandchildren, and it can just be a part of history that it brings people joy. And so I think that's the main reason why a children's book means a lot to me.
I think that's great. What does the writing process look like for you?
Peaceful. Very peaceful. That's why I try to just be up before everyone in the house when everything is still, you know, not a lot of things are stirring. I find that God speaks to me early in the morning when I'm fresh. And so it's very peaceful for me. I take time to write. Some things I write and no one ever sees them or hears them, but some things like Little Girl Big Heart, it's birthed into something that I can share. And so the writing process is very peaceful for me.
What surprised you about the writing process?
Probably the illustration process. It was probably the most fun part too, because I was able to take an idea that I had. It became words, and then those words became pictures. When I gave the the words and the descriptions of what I wanted the illustrations to look like to the illustrator, and she sent them back with the colors. It was like my words had been breathed upon. You know, that was the most interesting and fun part, because I didn't expect to be so wowed by the fact that my words just came to life. You know what I mean? So I think that was the most interesting, fun, exciting part.
What about the publishing part of it? What was that experience like for you?
Oh, wow. That part was, I won't say easy, but it was made enjoyable for me. I published through CKJ Publishing, who will also be represented at the signing portion afterwards. But the team was just there along with me every step of the way. There's so many things you don't know when you publish a book. It's not just you write the book and you get it on Amazon or you get it in bookstores. That couldn't be further from the truth. There's so many things that go into it, and the team at CKJ Publishing is so knowledgeable, and they taught me so many things about the interweavings of what it takes to create a book. You would never know that you have to register it here, and that you have to, once you submit it to be published, that some of the dimensions can be off a 25th of a millimeter, and so those things have to be corrected before people can buy your book. There's so many things that you just don't know, that working with someone like a publisher, and I'm going to push my publishing company because I'm proud of them, but that you would never know unless you have the expertise of someone that can help you along the way. And one thing that I also loved about my publishing company, CKJ Publishing, was that they were just as excited about my project as I was. And so when we got the proof, they were excited. When we got the materials, all of the branding materials, it was just as exciting for them as it was for me. And that pumped me up too. Yes. So I think the publishing process is an extremely enjoyable process. It's very vigorous. I had to do a lot of work. We all had to do a lot of work. But it's so worth it once you can see everything come together.
I think that is wonderful. In terms of fellow authors, what advice would you give them?
One, to write about what you love. I would say to write about what's in your heart. You know, it comes so easy for me to write about my family, to write about my kids and my husband, to write about my own life experiences. I think that is something that I would say, write about what you love, because that's what comes most natural. I would also say to write, keep writing, even when you don't feel like you have anything. Write. When you don't feel like you're inspired by anything, just sit down and write and see what comes to you, see what you can remember. Sometimes when you just sit down and you kind of block everything out, those are the times when the best ideas comes. And if you continue to write, if you continue to sit down and do it, the ideas will come, the inspiration will come, but you have to be consistent.
That is wonderful. Well, we're going to do a lightning round. So I'm just going to ask her some questions, and she's just going to fire them off. And I hope she does well. What do y'all think? You think she's going to do pretty well? All right, I think so too. Pen and paper or computer?
Pen and paper. I like to do it old school. I like to write.
Ebook or hard copy?
Audiobooks, because toddlers.
Okay, I'll take it. Fiction or nonfiction?
Nonfiction.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee, but it has to be iced.
Now see, you're doing too much. You're doing too much up here. I said lightning. That means fast. Okay. What's your favorite book?
It's actually a children's book. It's called I Am Enough. It's by Grace Byers.
Okay. What's your favorite movie?
The Intern with Anne Hathaway and Robert De Niro.
Where do you write?
Either at our kitchen table or in our office.
Who was the first person to hear your book?
my amazing husband, he was in bed and I woke him up because it was at 4 in the morning when I wrote it, so he had to hear it. So he was probably still half asleep.
But he listened, right?
But he was there.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. Power to the dad. What's your favorite television show?
I was actually just talking about this yesterday. I love any cooking competition show. So, Chopped, holiday baking championships, any type of holiday or cooking competition show, I am here for it.
Okay, and finally, what 3 apps do you have on your phone?
Well, the ones I use the most are my email. It's probably a toss-up between Instagram and Facebook, and also probably my Google Calendar.
Well, that's good. I'll take that. Thank you very much. This is so wonderful, and I wish all of you all could be sitting up here with us, because we're just having a conversation. That's what we do when we go to her house. But she cooks all the food, and I just come and I eat and I indulge. And we do it all before Brother Best gets home. I said, honey, I gotta get out of here. I've been here for 9 hours now, and your husband is coming, so we got to clear up everything and get ready. Now I'm going to turn it over to the audience. Because, I already got somebody who's ready. You came ready, huh? I'm gonna come down to you then. I wanna hear your question. Just cleared her throat. You know this is a good one.
Hi, author, Miss Aundrea Besst. My name is Marcy, and I just wanted to ask you, are you in the works of writing another book that we should know about?
I actually am. So 2020 is going to be a big year. We all already have the Spanish version of Little Girl Big Heart coming out. It's called Yes. So I'm super excited about that. And we also have Little Boy Big Joy coming out, which was also inspired by my cousin. He's my older cousin, but his name is Julian. We call him Julian. And I wrote that book because Julian was one of the first boys I've ever seen to laugh till he cried. He still laughs till he cries today. And when you see him, he always has a smile on his face. And he was one of the first little boys that I saw to exude joy. And so it really inspired me to want to write a book, kind of like a boy version, but a book that shows little boys that you don't have to hide your joy. You can be filled with it every day. You can laugh till you cry. You can dance. You can share. And I think it inspires me because I see my son laugh out loud sometimes, and it brings joy to my heart. So I have the Spanish version of Little Girl Big Heart, and then also Little Boy Big Joy hitting 2020.
Beautiful. Anyone else? Anyone else? Come on, there's gotta be another one. Another question. All right, here we go.
I just want to clarify something. I thought you told me I was the first one.
That would be my mom.
Anyone else? Hello.
Hi.
Mrs. Best. My question is, since you have such a love for the publishing portion, would you ever consider adding that to your resume?
Oh, that's a lot of work. I think if once my kids get a little bit older, maybe, but there's a lot of work involved in the publishing process, and right now, I think that there are people more knowledgeable than me. But one thing I will say, that it's amazing to see projects come from basically nothing to a published book and a work of art. And so I think that that's something that would be really cool to explore. Right now, I don't know, but in the future, you don't know what God has for you in the next 20 minutes, so. I may become inspired by your question.
I have a question. Hi, Sister Beth. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How did you choose your illustrator, and would you continue to use your illustrator?
So I found my illustrator actually on a website called Fiverr. It's a site where there are a lot of freelance artists and graphic designers, and you can just find them all in one spot. And when I searched for an illustrator, I searched for images that would jump off the page for me. Some that I've seen in other children's books that really come to life. And so I would definitely use her in the future. Her name is Jasmine Mills, and she was so easy to work with. She gave me exactly what I asked for. When I gave her the freedom to use her artistic abilities to kind of freehand things and use her own inspiration, she did exactly that. And so I would definitely recommend her, and I'm going to use her in the future.
That's great.
Anyone else? Okay, I got somebody over here. This is wonderful.
Hi. So I was wondering, do you ever plan on writing novels or going more into nonfiction or memoirs, or do you want to stay in children's fiction?
So I actually also have another book in the works that is not a children's book. Again, it's something that is near and dear to my heart. One thing I love is my husband. And so I am writing a book about marriage, because it's one of the most important things to me. And so that book will also be rolling out in the last quarter of 2020. But it's going to be a book on marriage, and it's going to be very interesting. I'll release a little bit of the title. It's called God's Not Invited.
All right. Anyone else?
Would you consider your main character, Alana, would you consider doing a book series about her and different adventures and perhaps her growing up?
You know, I thought about that, but I think that the route that I want to go is to really explore, and it sounds kind of funny, to explore who in my family I'm going to be inspired by next. So we have little girl, big heart. We have little boy, big joy. You never know. We may have favorite aunt, big laugh. I don't know. So I don't know about a series, but I would love to incorporate family into a book series, just to see that, you know, there are so many great aspects of your family. There's so many different people. There's so many things that you can see in different family members that you can really pull from and add to you.
Hey there.
Hey, boo.
Being an author, speaker, entrepreneur, wonderful stay-at-home mom, gorgeous wife, what advice would you give to someone who may have ideas, have dreams, but actually haven't put the pen to paper?
I would say just do it. There is nothing holding you back but you know. I would always think about, I edit as well, and so I would always edit other people's books and have all of these ideas about the types of books that I would write, and never really taking the step to move forward with publishing my own book. And I think there was a point, which I'm so glad that I saw her walk in. I helped edit a book last year called Grace, and the author is sitting in the back. But when I went to her book launch and I saw how inspired, I was so inspired being at that book launch. That book is a collection of stories of different women, and they all added their own letters to their younger selves. And when I went to that book launch, I was so inspired by all of the women who were there and who shared their stories and who put a pen to a paper or typed on a computer, just their journey. And so it really inspired me to do something that I had always dreamed of. I had always written, and to share that with others was just I thought it would be incredible. So I think that's definitely the advice I would give. Just do it. Believe in yourself. Believe that God is going to lead you and guide you every step of the way. And you don't have to worry, because if this is something that He's put in your heart to do, He will give you all the tools, all the resources, everything you need to get it done.
Is there another question?
First, I want to compliment you, because I think representation is everything, especially for Black and brown kids. So thank you for that. I also wanted to ask you, as a young mom, you said you go to the library a lot with your kids. Do you find that the publishing industry has changed, where there is more representation for our kids to find different literary, novels or just regular books for them? Do you find that there is a lot of it out there now?
I wouldn't say a lot. I would say on every one of our trips, we may find one book. And so it's a market that's growing, but I think it's still something that we need. It's actually interesting that you asked that question. When the publisher and I were putting together marketing materials for starting to market the book, and we were trying to find models to hold the book and things like that, and to represent me and how I wanted to market my book, we didn't find a lot of African American young girls who were modeling holding books, you know what I mean? And so it's definitely a market that it's not there yet, but I think we're on our way. We are certainly on our way. There are so many books that we have on our archive now just because we've had to buy them, because it's like you find a good one and we have to keep it. So it's on the rise, I would say, but I think it's something that's still so needed.
Anyone else? Okay, I have a question, and so I'll ask it. Given all that you do, I've read your bio, your formal bio.
Yes.
How do you balance everything? How do you get everything to jive?
That would be my other half. My husband is amazing. He's a great teammate. He really is. We lean on God in everything we do. We can't do anything without Him, you know what I mean? And it's moment by moment that I have to lean on the Lord. It's day by day that I have to get up and renew my mind and say, okay, yesterday was horrible. The kids threw 16 million tantrums. The dishes need to be clean. The laundry needs to be folded. But today is going to be a better day. I have to renew my mind daily. I have to lean on God daily. I have to trust my husband, and we have to lean on each other. We have to pray for each other and with each other, and it's all teamwork. Teamwork.
They say teamwork makes the dream work. And so we're going to get ready to transition. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Thank you for sitting in on this conversation with my friend, for being part of this wonderful book launch experience. We are celebrating, we are so excited, and I don't know, the best is yet to come, and that's no pun intended. The best is yet to come. And so again, I want to thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here. I know there's nowhere else you'd rather be because you were here on today. And so we're going to transition into the book signing part of this event. And we're going to ask that you, not right now, I'm going to give you some instructions, some housekeeping. You're going to go out these doors, these main doors here, and all the way down past the double doors, and you're gonna take a right, and you're gonna make your way to Events Hall. There you will be able to purchase a book. You will be able to have your copy signed. There will be some light bites. So if you want something, if you're looking for macaroni and cheese, and you're looking for ham, spiral ham, there will be some light bites and some refreshments that you can have at that time. And there also are some vendors that you will be able to engage with. One of the vendors will be CKJ Publishing, as well as